Trump called into Newsmax on, dude, they don't even, what's her name? Look, this is their channel. Former President Donald Trump joins Newsmax TV, which, I mean, he calls in. He's not a member now or something. More via Newsmax TV. But yeah, they don't even list her name. I've seen her in some of the promos. I think we had one other clip. I don't know her name. What? And look at this. What's this Newsmax exclusive? Are they at least going to give her a little graphic? Like if this was Salcido or Stankfield or Greg Kelly, they'd be logoed the hell out. I know you're thinking what I'm thinking. Newsmax, sexist against their female anchors? Shocked, I tell you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. President. We appreciate your time.
Well, we appreciate your time. What else was he going to be doing? I'm confused. What part of? Hold on one second. I don't know why my Stream Deck is being oh, there it is. It's good. Okay.
Well, thank you, Heather.
I know.
Oh, her name is Heather, by the way. They put it on a Post-it note on his phone.
That you're very busy. Let's.
No, he isn't. No, he isn't. Fake news. Fake news right out of the gate. He's not busy. He's not busy at all.
Tackle that first topic that we were just discussing, the MLB moving the All-Star game.
Oh, Major League Baseball. Finally, let's get him an expert, because didn't he try to buy a football team, or was that like he knows sports? He was the best baseball player in his prep school.
To Denver.
That apparently, according to no one.
Colorado, you've already had a lot to say about it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But please, bloviate some more.
What's your opinion?
Well, they had a very strong bill, and I guess the governor rejected it because it was too strong, and then they went with a watered-down bill. He
means the Georgia voter bill.
If you look at, the history.
And by the way, watered down is because they took out the provision where you couldn't supply water and replaced it with you can have a bucket of water near the door. Watered down. Seriously, how can you be sitting on the phone and stepping on rakes?
History of it, they went with a very strongly watered down bill. They don't have various elements that you'd like to have, but
you mean the part where you can't hand out water?
That's why they call it watered down.
Sorry, my mistake. I thought that was about the amphibious bunnies
in Georgia, and
that's the phrase they only use in Georgia. What?
And now they've moved the All-Star game because they thought the bill was too tough when it's not. They're woke, and
they're woke. Yeah, Major League Baseball, totally woke. They're woke. Use woke. Is that on the Post-it too, right next to her name? Say woke and watered down. Voter ID for absentee ballots. Expands in-person early voting. Secures ballot drop boxes. Ends portable poll sites. Yeah, that's not the part they had a problem with.
Woke is not good for our country. Woke is not good.
No, woke not good. Woke bad. Woke mean everyone sleep. Ironic title.
And I hope a lot of people, I think people are giving up on baseball anyway. You look at the fans.
Yeah, nobody likes baseball. What kind of...
Way down, everything's way down. I don't think anybody...
Yeah, nobody watches, but nobody's even going to baseball games.
cares, but...
Nobody cares, but let's talk about it anyways. What else are we going to talk about? Apple pie? The American flag? Nobody's into that shit anymore.
They shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be hurting the people of Georgia.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be
They're not hurting the people of Georgia. They're helping the people of Colorado.
Doing that, especially for a bill that is less stringent than the one...
The phrase is watered down.
They have where they're moving the All-Star game to.
Right, less stringent because they still obviously have the voter ID in Denver as they do in Georgia, but there's...
In Denver? Denver's a city. Also, they have universal mail-in voting. They have that because that's how you register. Everybody does mail-in voting. That's just how you all right.
Less available days to vote there, and then also some other issues. So
that's because almost no one votes in person.
Obviously, that wasn't the real issue when it came
No, that wasn't the real. It was a black thing, probably. The word woke sounds black to me, ma'am.
to the Georgia law and all of these companies that jumped in, the media reaction. So what do you think is really behind?
Yeah, what's really going on this? Please say Jews. Please say Jews. Right.
And all the wokeness with these corporations
Yeah, what's the wokey woke?
Jumping on the bandwagon?
Well, Georgia's got a lot of difficulties. I mean, you look at in this new law, I don't believe they have signature matching. Now, why wouldn't they have signature matching? A lot of the real power, a lot of the guts have been taken out of it.
They already have a process for matching signatures. It's just goofy. Thank you for the Venmo. Somebody just made my phone jiggle, and I thought it was because the battery was dying, and it was actually because you Venmoed me. Thank you so much. I don't have my watch on, so I couldn't. It usually buzzes me.
But they had something that was very powerful, meaning fair and free and good.
That's what powerful means. Fair and free and good.
For the people, but it was strong. You have to be a citizen. You have to be all of the things that you have to be. And
wait. Hold on. According to this new bill, you have to be a citizen to vote in Georgia. When did that shit start? All right, we need to move all sports out of there. This is what kind of authoritarian...
And signature ID, et cetera, but they didn't have signature matching, as I understand it. That's not...
Well, you misunderstand it.
Good, and it's very watered down from the original one.
What about...
Because you can't give out water. I swear to God, his teeny tiny little circus peanut brain is literally just latched onto the water thing.
All of these companies, though, that are being woke now. You have Coca-Cola.
Do you have a woke quota? Do they have to? Did these assholes get paid by the woke?
You have Delta, United Airlines, I think last night.
Yeah, they're so friggin' woke.
Issued a statement. American.
He just woke up. Like that's how.
American Airlines has already jumped on board and issued a statement because the state of Texas is talking about, some of these. Jesus,
next thing you know, all the airplanes are gonna have blue hair and wearing BLM shirts.
Voter and election integrity.
I hear Frontier Airlines is scrubbing all the animals off their tail fin and just putting non-binary Antifa activists on there.
Laws that they want to strengthen.
Hi, I'm your airplane. My pronouns are, oh my God, welcome to Woke Airlines.
Oh, let them try boycotting Texas. Texas will teach them a lesson.
Let them try boycotting Texas. Texas will teach them a lesson. If you come down here, we're going to shoot you. Well, we're not going to come down there. That's the whole fucking point of a boycott. If you guys don't come down here and patronize our businesses, we're going to... Well, you won't be here for... I guess we'll just shoot ourselves? I don't know.
That I can tell you. Let them...
Thanks for telling us. That you can,
Try it. Look, it's crazy what's going on.
Honest to God. How do you not know how a boycott works? Watch them. If they try not to go to Texas, what are they gonna do? Send slave patrols to pick up liberals and bring them down there and make them eat ribs? Texas will show them. Oh my God, that's beautifully dumb. Right off the bat.
It shouldn't be happening.
No.
Frankly, these companies should stay out of it because they all they do is aggravate people and
That's right. That's all they do is aggravate people, losing bags and canceling flights and stuff. What do they know about voting?
People are not happy with it. And
no, they're not.
The people you're talking about, some of them live in foreign countries. They run these big multinational companies. And they're
like American. Yeah, American Airlines. It's run out of the UAE, apparently.
Making calls from London and other places. And
London? Oh, my God. Those commies? London? Yeah. Cup o' tea, fish and chips, London.
I don't even know what's happening. No, I think it's a
Yeah, nobody in London knows what the fuck is going on in America. Yeah, we don't need to hear from those assholes. We fought a war with them so we wouldn't have to deal with any monarchy. I know, London. He went to London, not Macedonia. All right. London. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for coming by, Michelle.
a disgrace. And frankly, if Republican conservatives ever got their act together, which they should, if we had some real leadership instead of Mitch McConnell and the group, if we had
some real leadership like yours, didn't you lose them the House and the Senate both?
some real leadership, what
real leadership.
you'd be doing is something much different. They'd be boycotting these companies, and those companies would be coming. That's what the liberals do. They boycott anybody that speaks out. They boycott them. They cancel them and they boycott them. We have more people than they do.
So you're basically arguing for a bigger cancel culture, a bigger boycott. I see.
What should happen is the Republicans and let's say Republican conservatives, Republicans, you could call it whatever you want.
Call it COVID. You call them Kung Flu. That's what I call the GOP. They have so many names. Why is everything Satan? Oh, I have so many names.
Right. If they would boycott these companies that are so above it all, you'd.
Trump slams woke corporate culture. I want you to wrap your. I mean, it's the whole like Mitch McConnell attacking corporations is pretty hysterical. It's really ridiculous. But for Christ's sake, can you imagine? Can you imagine 5 years ago seeing this sentence? Just that phrase slams woke corporate culture. That's freaking amazing.
You'd find that they would come back into the fold very quickly. But
Yeah, that's right. Stop drinking Diet Coke. Or at least hide it on your desk when you're drinking it when there's supposed to be a boycott going on.
Now, the liberals, the radical left plays the Democrats, they play a much tougher game.
Yeah, we're tough. That's the thing. Thank you, Natalie. Oh, yes, Sexy Liberal Tour Weekend is always my most exhausted week, I have to say. I almost can't enjoy the show sometimes because I'm, dragging ass just to get to the show. Just the wheels falling off. I feel, metaphorically, like that marathon runner who, nobody thought he would make it, and he's dying, and he shits himself in the last 10 feet before but he crossed the finish line.
Yeah. So should we boycott baseball?
Yeah. Boycott baseball, apple pie, 4th of July, hot dogs. Fuck that. Let's see. Jesus. Listen to this. This is, guys, come on. This is fucking Newsmax. And should we boycott baseball? Republican Party, what happened to you? What happened? Honestly. Did somebody, I swear to God, someone in the Kremlin has to have just lost a bet. Dude, I never thought you would get them to boycott baseball. You're the fucking man.
Well, I have, look, I'm just not very interested in baseball for the last number of years, I think.
Yeah, for a while now.
It's not appropriate. You look,
it's inappropriate. That's the problem, whatever, all that scratching and spitting.
You want to find a game, it's on every channel, and yet you can't find anything.
Yeah.
Please. This is amazing. This is really just... It's on every channel. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Grandpa. How does this even work? Give me the remote, Grandpa. I got it.
The weirdest thing.
It's so weird.
It's a nice, easy thing to follow. And you know what I mean by that. It was on one network, and it was nice and good and beautiful.
It was easy to follow because it was so It used to be only 3 channels. You used to just click, and there was baseball, and you could follow it. And then all these brown people started showing up, and then there was steroids. Couldn't keep track of shit. Now there's like 15 buttons. I push the home button on it. Why does it have a home button? I'm at home. I'm good. This is killing me. Oh. Too many channels.
Today, you don't even know what the hell you're watching. So.
Oh, shit.
I would say boycott baseball. Why not?
Yeah, look at that. They don't even throw right anymore. Like, dude broke his arm.
I think what they did was a terrible thing. I think it's a very unfair thing. And
Well, you know, ask Lauren Boebert. It moved into her
they
district.
didn't even know the bill. And in fact, I think they were aware of the bill as it was going along. Everybody was okay with it. Then as soon as Stacey Abrams speaks up, they end up folding. Mm-hmm. And it should be the opposite. We have more people
Yeah, Stacey should end up folding.
than they do.
Well, you know,
We have more people than they do. They just didn't show up at the voting booths.
why is
We
it
don't
that
use the power of the people. You know, the people should boycott those companies.
Yeah, please, yes. All the anti-vax maggots, please boycott all the good companies so the rest of us don't have to listen to your bullshit or sit next to you with your unvaccinated ass and you're like, I don't need a mask. Yeah, just don't go to all, like, please. Who do I provide a list of my favorite restaurants and stuff? Can you take my Yelp list and give it, like, call the CEOs on it and make them support the Georgia bill just so that these assholes won't stank the place up?
That are all of a sudden so righteous, and you would find that they would come right. They would be right back because the bill it's a weak bill. Mm-hmm. It's a weak bill. They do have voter ID, which is a great thing. You should have, but even that's probably a little bit on the watered down side from what I hear. But we don't have.
Yeah, I mean, you can have it just a hand drawing of your picture. You know, it's not. You don't need the photo doesn't have to be recent. It can be you can get it from 23andMe. Any of your ancestors will do.
Signature matching, which is a big deal.
just one of the many.
Why'd you edit it out? What? It wasn't live? Wait, did they get to give a cut of it?
Crises that are going on right now is the border situation.
Yep.
I did want to get your comments on that because there's reports out today that the Biden administration is now going to follow through once they pulled the plug, but now they're talking about going back and constructing the wall in the parts that were not yet complete. One of the many things that they reversed.
It's almost like he is finishing his review period. And the parts that were incomplete are parts that were repair points. Most of the wall that Trump built, but for 25 miles of it, was place where we already had barrier. We already had either a wall or a giant fence. And he just replaced it. It was just a repair job, essentially. And there were sections of it where they didn't finish.
Reversed immediately without going down there to the border and determining what could or could not be done. What do you think that the Biden administration needs to do to fix it right now? Yeah,
tell us. Let's do it. There's children. We just saw the video of that like 10-year-old boy alone in the desert. He was with a group and he got separated and they just found him on a road in the desert. What should be done with him? I mean, is Stephen Miller sitting right next to you? Can you ask?
Well, I think it's great that they reversed themselves, but a lot of damage was done because we were going to have that wall almost complete. It delayed 2.5 years because of lawsuits. The Democrats sued us in Congress, many, many suits, and we won all of the
Well, Mexico was supposed to pay for it.
Suits, and we started building.
No, they didn't. They ran into all kinds of legal issues.
And we were almost finished, and then
they were not almost finished. Remember the border was supposed to be the entire southern border, everywhere, and then it's like 500 miles is all we need.
They called it into it, and it's, just incredible. But if they agree that they're going to complete it, it's very little to complete. If they agree that they're going to complete it, that's a great thing. That's a very positive step.
I want to ask you about the...
What did that edit? Look at that again. Hold the phone. They are cutting pieces out of this interview. Hold on. Watch this.
That's a great thing.
What you can tell by the ticker down at the bottom.
That's a very positive step.
I want to ask...
See that? I mean, she shifts a little too.
They're going to complete it.
Look.
That's a great thing. That's a very positive step.
I want to ask you...
What is happening?
About the Biden administration and foreign policy. A lot of folks questioning his health and issues that he's had. We didn't have the press conference until 64 days in, and then I mean, you don't have to. And then Putin. We had China, North Korea, Iran, and Russia, who have all challenged him from day one. When it comes to foreign policy and what the Biden administration is doing, specifically North Korea, not even taking their phone call. Obviously, you had a relationship with Kim Jong-un. Have you?
You're still taking phone calls from him.
You've spoken to him, and what do you think?
Have you spoken to him
about the Biden administration when it comes to North Korea?
No. It would not. It's not good if he has spoken to him.
Well, I had a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un in the end.
Yeah, of course. I mean, anybody who runs a giant Jonestown and has entire work camps and people are just flat out murdered for disagreeing with him. I mean, why wouldn't you get along with him?
We started off rough, but we got along very well, and we like each other, and it was a good thing. If you remember, when I first came in, everyone thought we were going to war with North Korea, and that didn't happen. Now I notice that it's a very bad situation, and very bad situation with China. China never spoke to me the way they spoke to our representatives. They never spoke to us that way.
No, they signed a deal with you, and according to you, they attacked us with a bioweapon while you were busy signing shit. They used basically the suckers game with you.
Ever. The way they spoke to our people in Alaska was horrible. And if you look at Iran is now, we would have had a deal done very quickly with Iran.
Sure, yeah. It was we're this close, guys. This close.
Iran, the way it should have been done. And now they're talking about going back into the Iran deal, which is unthinkable.
Former President Trump joins American agenda. I guess that's the show title, not the actual agenda to support America.
Right.
Everything. It's just nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. And
Why
the Middle East.
Nobody's ever seen anything quite like it? What? Quite like what? Our relationship with Iran? Hang on. May I? Oh, let's see. What's a good one? Nobody's ever seen anything quite like the circumstance in Iran. There's nobody's had anything to do with. There's never been. We haven't gone through stuff with it where it was. I mean, honestly, I don't consider myself an aficionado of, but obviously, probably things are better with, were better with Iran before.
We had peace. We were going to have total peace in the Middle.
Total peace, guys. All we had to do was give every Middle Eastern country $50 billion worth of weapons. It's a great plan. Guys, nobody ever thought of this before. I don't know why. What could possibly go wrong?
The Middle East, the Abraham Accords were incredible. And
they were sweet. I mean, I feel like isn't Abraham a character from The Walking Dead? He didn't do so well, I don't think. Hold on.
Acknowledged to be incredible. And then, of course, I came up.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't acknowledged to be incredible. It was quite credible. It was like an attempt. It was weird. The idea, though, that every country you talk to basically just expanded their arms sales to the United States in exchange for commercial flights with Israel because they were already having private flights. Who cares?
Came up with a vaccine. We pushed people like they've never been pushed before at the end.
Like they've never been pushed before. And specifically, he's talking about the vaccine supplier that he paid ahead of time and pushed and ignored all the safety issues that they had, and they've never produced a useful dose of the vaccine.
At the FDA and elsewhere, and got a vaccine done in 9 months instead of 5 years.
Yeah, because that's the standard.
Right.
And it's
Right.
we did a great job, but now we have somebody else running it. If you look at China, they have ships all over the place. They have, very threatening, having to do with Taiwan. Very threatening. I was never threatened.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because you never protected Taiwan.
Why do you think that you were treated so differently than they have come in and immediately treated President Biden?
Well,
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like our adversaries test every new president.
they have to respect your leader, and they have to respect your leadership. And if they don't, it's going to be very tough. Russia, the same thing. You look at what's happening with Russia. Russia's very aggressive now. They weren't aggressive with me. They weren't aggressive.
Yeah, Russia wasn't aggressive during Trump at all. Because they didn't have to be. You let them in. Nobody needs to kick in the door if you're laying out the red carpet.
With our country, despite the fact that we had the Russian hoax, which made it tougher for them and for us. It was a
Why?
hoax between Schiff and all these other characters. They're all a bunch of crooks, but
We're getting back into the gripe
that
zone.
was a hoax, the Russian hoax. We went all through that, but despite that, they had respect for the president, and they had respect for.
No, they didn't. Putin clearly viewed Trump as a dog with his belly
Our
up.
country. They don't respect our country anymore. It's
Yeah, it's almost like the Russians never really respected us. I don't know what's going on.
since this happened,
Yeah.
it's incredible. I mean, they see the same thing that you see and that I see, and it's not a good situation. And I hope he's well. I hope everything's fine from that standpoint, physically, and mentally. But I certainly hope he's well. But countries are not respecting our leadership. That's for sure.
Do you
You don't think so?
think that he is capable of doing the job from what?
Oh, yeah. Tell us. Do you think he's capable of operating a remote control?
You've seen? I mean, you had to do the job. You're working 24 hours a day.
Well, he didn't have to.
People would actually laugh about the fact that you rarely seem to be ever sleeping, but it does take that kind of initiative and drive to do the job. Do you think he is up for it, or do you think someone else is doing the job right now?
Oh, that's the old Kamala is running things. It's really the left that's driving, because he never campaigned on these things. We're going that route, you think? This is so far left of Bernie. Is that where we're going?
Well, it does take that kind of drive, and it takes tremendous strength and enthusiasm
And that's why you lost and were only served one term?
and
And golf?
everything that you can imagine. I mean,
Everything that you can imagine. Wow, that's... I can imagine a lot, I'm just saying.
you need the highest levels of every ingredient necessary. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's basically a giant kitchen of human capability.
it's a full-time. When I say full-time, it's 50 hours a day, and you understand what I mean by that.
Right.
She does. No, she doesn't.
It's a lot of work, and I think other people are making most of the decisions, but I may be wrong about that. I don't
You are.
know.
All right.
Look, I debated him, and I was,
And he kicked your ass? Yeah.
a little surprised at what was being said.
Let's talk about.
I debated him, and I was a little surprised what was being said, because everybody told him that he's got a stutter, he's a mush mouth, he won't be able to put a thought together. He's been running on this whole thing. Biden's got dementia the entire time, and then this dude who everybody around him tells him has dementia kicks his ass in the debates. And he's like, I'm a little surprised at some of the words.
I
Thank you.
don't really know him very well, but
Right.
to be honest with you, somebody's making decisions. Let's put it this way. Bernie Sanders, if he
On his greatest day, in his prime time, wouldn't even dream of this is so far to the left of Bernie Sanders, right?
ever won, he would never have gone anywhere near this. He cannot believe what's going on. This is Bernie Sanders on steroids.
Weren't you on steroids?
Our country's becoming a socialist nation. This is Bernie Sanders on steroids.
But is it Bernie Sanders on steroids?
And the only good thing to come out is now they finally agreed, after screwing up the construction, which was going along perfectly, is going to be finished soon. They finally agreed to rebuild or to complete the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. She reminded you of that just a minute ago. Like, I love when he thinks that something they were just talking about is a new thought.
Which shouldn't take them a long period of time, but that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you about vaccines. But let's put vaccines on hold for just a moment. And since you talked about Bernie Sanders, the infrastructure plan that everyone is talking about that includes every.
Oh, horrible! Here it comes. This infrastructure, this faux infrastructure plan. I think probably Mark Levin probably has a word or two to say about that.
Under
Hideous.
the sun, other
Everything.
than infrastructure, usually at least under
nursing pods, moccasin classes. Everybody has to look after a dolphin and a fish tank in their house. There's a whole whale saving section, which is like, I think, $900 billion. And yeah.
Under your administration, infrastructure was bipartisan.
It didn't exist. It never happened. It was a joke. It was always infrastructure week. You never.
The bipartisan effort. This
so bipartisan that the Republicans never voted for it.
Administration seems to be making no effort to be bipartisan when it comes to either COVID relief or this multi-trillion-dollar.
No effort? No effort? No effort. Did they not have meetings? Offer to let people add ideas to it? I'm sorry, at what point is it the responsibility of the inviter to make the invitee bipartisan?
$1 billion infrastructure plan that
Burt Piteson
includes the Green New Deal and what they're calling human infrastructure. What do you see as the path?
Yeah, which is obviously a code for pedivore, baby-eating Democratic space Jews.
Moving forward for any type of bipartisanship, and what happens when it comes to taxes? They're talking about reversing the corporate tax rate that you.
Well, no, it's moving it up halfway. It was literally moderating the tax cut. 35 went to 21, putting it back to 28, not to 35. Had the other one not passed, this would be an enormous tax cut still.
You lowered and raising it again to 28%.
Well, you have companies leaving our country. I brought them back. So many companies came back.
Oh, yeah,
and they
Carrier.
invested money in the country, like
they totally did.
That nobody can even believe.
Yeah, because they're not believable.
They weren't able to bring their money back in because of the.
What? Wait a minute. Hold on. Look, I know Trump is fascinating. I know we're all just riveted by his thing, but look at the scroll down at the bottom.
In our country, I brought them back.
Navy
so
official.
Came back,
no indications. Mysterious drones
like
are extraterrestrial. Just doing that.
Weren't able to bring their money back in because of the tax structure was too high, so they left their money do all of the work in other countries, and it was coming in by the trillions, and it was a great thing.
No, it wasn't. If it was coming in by the trillions, then why did you have $1 trillion deficit every year?
What was happening, and all of that's going to be reversed. It's a very sad, including jobs. We had the greatest job numbers in history. Nobody's ever had numbers even close.
Really? Because in the 50s, we had 1.2% unemployment, almost complete employment. I mean, the jobs numbers last month, kind of huge.
And all of that now, and I did it twice because I did it once and then
Gallup poll, COVID-19 fear at record low. Gee, I wonder why.
Plague came in from China, and then after our foundation was so strong. We're doing better than any other country in the world right now, and that's because of the foundation that we built.
That's right. It's not because Biden actually put a structure together and got a giant rescue package passed that made literally Wall Street giddy.
And even with COVID, they used to say, oh, look at Germany and look at France and well, they're all shut down. They're in a desperate position right now, and we're open where we have good Republican leadership, like in Florida and Texas and some of the other places. I mean, we're open and doing,
You mean where the cases are ballooning?
really well and doing better numbers than the places that are closed, like New
Yeah, because you can trust DeSantis's numbers.
York. Better numbers.
It's weird how the honest numbers always sound like shit, and the fake numbers always sound so much better.
Medically or with COVID, we're doing much better numbers in the states that have been opened and run by Republicans. So, look, I think it's very sad when you watch what's happening. And again,
we got great numbers. Everything's really opening. It's good. It's very sad when you see what's happening.
The only glimmer is they want to finish the wall now. That was a big mistake, and at least they're. I'm not knocking them. I'm giving them maybe the opposite of that.
Yeah, what's the opposite of knocking? Doorbell?
At least they're willing to say we made a mistake and we're going to finish the wall.
Well, you mentioned,
It's the points where it was already existing barrier. You made a hole where there was none. They're just going to finish the hole.
A glimmer of hope. Looking forward to 2022. You have been out there already endorsing some candidates. Who would be your next big endorsements that you would make?
Yeah, tell us. Make some news right here on Something Max. I forget the name of the show.
Well, we have a lot of them coming up, you'll see, and everybody wants the endorsement, because if they don't get the endorsement, they're not going to win for the most.
Yeah, really. If you don't get Trump's backing, you can tell just from the numbers on this interview. I mean, honestly.
Part they're not going to win. We just endorsed a fantastic young woman from Louisiana, as you know, and
what's her name?
She ended up winning in Congress. Her husband passed away, COVID-19. He just got elected. He was
it was in COVID-20?
Congressman elect. And she ran, and most people expected a runoff or less, and she ended up getting
less than a runoff.
65% of the vote after we endorsed her. So everybody wants the endorsements, and
it didn't hurt that she ran in a red district on with her husband's name, who was the incumbent.
We are going to be announcing quite a few of them over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, just keep us posted, though. Maybe a running list.
I think all of those people that...
You know what? You could tweet them.
We endorsed are going to go on to victory. People see what's happening. People see it very much.
I mean, you can see it on reruns mostly. Rerun was actually on what's happening.
And they respect it. They respect the job we did.
What about specifically Alabama?
Do they?
Alabama, Missouri, or Ohio? Are you looking at any of those candidates?
Those places you won.
Mo Brooks?
Sure.
Okay.
All of them.
More of that.
Great people going in those states.
Good
and they're
folks.
Great states, and they're states that I won by a lot.
Right. Gee, I wonder why he thinks that's... So there are shitty parts of America. I get it.
As you know, Alabama, Missouri, Ohio. I won by a lot. And they all want an endorsement, and I'll be largely making those. Sometimes, you have two or three really good and supportive, but also really, really good candidates, and sometimes you have to let that just play out. But
I mean, there's so many.
I'll be generally speaking making endorsements.
What is it?
That's good. That's breaking news. I will be generally speaking making endorsements. Like lightning.
What does it take to get your endorsement, and would you be...
Yeah, how much? What's the going price right now? Do you have to have a Mar-a-Lago membership, or is being a white supremacist enough?
Willing to maybe just name one right now?
Please make some news on my show, because no one's going to listen to this rambling bullshit.
I'm pushing you on it.
Well, look, I can say that, I haven't endorsed yet, but Mo Brooks in Alabama has done
She brought that up, dummy.
Spectacular.
Of course you're going to back him.
Job of fighting
$124,000. Is that it?
For an election integrity, and he's a strong guy. He's a tough guy.
It does look like it says Con the phone.
He loves his state. I mean, I could see going that way. You have other really good people. They're really good people, but Mo is...
I mean, it's a solid red district. I could just pick whoever I'll tell you what. I'm in a district that's going to go red, and I really don't know. I'll just say the Republican. I'll campaign for the Republican, and then say I picked the one.
Right out there on the front lines, and he was fighting for election integrity. He saw what happened with the 2020 presidential election. It was
great. Yeah, Biden kicked your ass, and yeah, pretty brutal.
rigged and stolen, and he saw that.
Oh, it's terrible. Rigged and stolen.
And others saw that too.
What about
Well, no. I mean, bunch of Q wannabes and Rudy Giuliani, but
Eric Greitens or Josh Mann?
why is she dressed like Vanna White? You're kidding, right? You don't think that she's allowed to come to work in a real in like a suit jacket? It's Newsmax. She's talking to the president. She has to have her arms showing. It's a sign of submission.
He's running for the Senate. You have some wonderful people in Ohio and
Trump. Mo Brooks in Alabama has done a spectacular job. Jesus
Missouri,
Christ!
You have some.
This is like Trump refrigerator poetry.
Wonderful people running, and we'll be letting people know very, very shortly.
Yeah, let everybody know. Yeah, she wants you to let her know on her show to help her out because she's sitting through this whole. They edited all your weird, like where you farted. They edited that out for you so that you would break some news on her show.
Very shortly.
Okay. Well, you could let them know right now, but you can think about that.
Well,
please.
I think you do a fantastic job, by the way,
thank
Heather.
you.
I think
I do
you're really
appreciate it.
a real professional.
I appreciate
Why did she get a Chiron? Why didn't they go, she does a fantastic job?
And I
it very
appreciate
much.
it.
What about this big RNC donor meeting? They're all coming down to Palm Beach this weekend?
We have a lot of senators, congressmen, and donors coming down to Palm Beach, to Mar-a-Lago. We have
Yeah, it's a shame Ghislaine Maxwell can't be there, but like her bond hearing was postponed.
a very big ballroom, and it's going to be
Empty.
full. It's going to be really something. You know, Florida's back in action,
It totally is.
and they've done Ron has done a fantastic job.
Fantastic job hiding the numbers.
The state is really, people want to come here.
What's
People
the
really- and
significance?
A lot of people are coming and not moving back to other locations.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like your son, that was disappointing, wasn't it? Don Jr. just bought a house like 20 minutes from Mar-a-Lago. That's who he's talking about. Like a lot of people are moving down here and not leaving.
Which is pretty tough for those other locations.
Yeah, I don't blame them for the ones that left New York because we are nowhere near back. What's the significance of all the RNC folks coming down there this weekend, and how often do people try to come down there to get your endorsement and to get your help?
Well,
Yeah, it must be like crazy. I mean, do you even have time to golf?
all the time, and far more so than even a year ago or 6 months ago.
You mean when you weren't living at Mar-a-Lago?
You see the polls, and the polls have been incredible. We have
Yeah, they're great polls, especially Rasmussen. Like if you haven't looked at the Rasmussen one, it's not as good as the Rasmussen one, but it's good.
95% approval ratings, and we have, really,
With who? Mar-a-Lago members?
it's an incredible thing.
It's incredible.
If you look back to normal
6 months.
wonderful times, which frankly were probably
Look back to normal, wonderful times, which were frankly what?
normal wonderful times, which frankly were probably in many ways worse than this, because we got hit with COVID.
Right.
We got hit with the plague from China, so that sort of puts a pall on things.
Seriously, Biden's supposed to have dementia?
But if you look back, you'll see that, generally speaking, an endorsement doesn't mean a thing. Having an endorsement from Ronald Reagan was wonderful to have, but it didn't mean that much in terms of points. And I'm giving endorsement, and people are going up 30, 40, 50 points. It's been pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah.
And it's a great
In Republican primaries.
honor. But I have to be very careful with it because I want
Yeah, you want it because you want to have because once people realize that you're just picking who the party is picking and that they're automatically crafting their own poll numbers, that once people are on to the fact that it's a flim flam, you're not going to they're not going to come kiss the ring, and then there goes the brand.
we want great people to be in there. We want people that love our country, that are going to be willing
Right.
to fight for our country and be strong.
And by our country, we mean a few of the states and screw everybody else.
And I think those are the people that we are endorsing. Low taxes, keep the taxes low, strong military, Second Amendment, I mean, there are 5 or 6 things that are just, very, very important.
Right.
And
So you have a checklist, and then they fill out the form, and if their check clears, they get the endorsement.
I
those
did
things
want
are being
to.
obliterated. The Democrats are looking to virtually demolish your Second Amendment.
Of course, your Second Amendment you got over there, dude. Never shot a gun, can't shoot, doesn't own a gun, like has security. Your Second Amendment, it's not his.
I said that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I did want to finally just ask.
What the hell is that edit? Again, why are they editing this? Why do you have to transition? Does he have to go, I got to take a call, and then they just cut it out?
You, because you were talking about endorsing candidates. Will you be using your new social media platforms for that? And what?
Yeah, what, Frank? No, that's Mike Lindell's. What's yours called? Trump? Strump?
Can you tell us about it? And also the
Orange Facebook?
presidential library. Any news on that front?
Yeah, tell us about the library. Emphasis on the lie.
So we have a lot of people that want to come onto social media. Right now, as you know,
Totally.
we're doing releases, press releases, I guess you could call them, and they're getting out to everybody.
Wait, press releases, I guess you could call them? You mean your statements from the office of the former president?
Now, as you know, we're doing releases, press releases, I guess you could call them, and they're getting out to everybody. They're very effective, actually.
Yeah, they're great. They're super. That last one, I mean, I can almost... Yeah, I can smell the not giving a shit.
I mean, I think I'm getting the word out to everybody.
Everybody. Yeah, everybody.
And it's done in a way, it's done in a more elegant way. But
It's so elegant. I'm glad he uses that word over and over again.
we have a lot of options on social media and platforms.
You do, yeah, totally. Like we're looking to get into sort of a licensing deal with sort of a low-end one where I just slap my name on an already existing one and bring some traffic over to it and then start selling through it right away.
Platforms, and at the right time we'll be making the announcement.
Yeah, at the right time. Couple weeks, 2 weeks, in a very short period of time. In the next 2 weeks, right?
We had probably 200 million people, between 90 million people on Twitter.
Oh my God, this one again, where everybody that's the same subscribers on multiple platforms, many of them paid for, he's counting them twice and 3 times, and he's worried about voting integrity.
And then we had POTUS had a 36 million.
Anywhere,
we
nice.
were one of the top on Facebook, and all of these people, and the big tech cut them off because they were not happy with the progress that we made. They cut them off. They silenced a voice, and a big voice, and many other voices, and many.
Yeah, several voices. All these. I heard a sound. There was a disturbance in the pulse. It's like the sound of millions of voices crying out and then all being silenced at once.
People left Twitter.
You continue with the studies, Luke.
Twitter's become very boring.
It is very
mundane.
boring. It is. And
It's amazing. Like, where am I going to go? And how, like, if I can't post a bullseye meme in front of a sort of brownish looking woman with a, come and take it hashtag across it, what fun is there?
and anybody says it isn't telling the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, most people left. I left, and then I came back, and then I left again, and I come. I mean, I'm not on it all the time.
Well, many people have left, Heather.
You mean all the people who went to Parler? Bye.
It's incredible. They're leaving, and
The bots?
it's no longer. When I went on Twitter, years ago, it was like a dead company.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was totally dead. That's what drew you to it.
And then it became.
Are we going to find out that he's going to start floating this idea that Dorsey actually paid me to be one of his celebrities on there? That whole thing about Ashton Kutcher and CNN was bullshit. I was the first one to get $1 million.
Hot. Now it's becoming dead again. People are bored. I mean, I'm hearing this from everybody.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because you hear from people who are unbiased about their experience.
They're bored stiff. So Facebook is so big.
Right.
They had a big drop off too in value after that happened. But Facebook is big enough. But Twitter is becoming very, very mundane.
Boring.
And very people are not enjoying it so much
Facebook
anymore
pulled
at
your
all.
Facebook.
At all? Says the guy who's not on it.
Facebook pulled the interview that you did with your daughter-in-law, Laura, so she had to put it
Incredible.
on Clout Hub. It'll be interesting. I'm sure I will lose thousands and thousands of followers on Twitter after our interview today. They'll just magically
No,
disappear.
I think you'll gain a lot of respect, actually, because you're one of the people that tells us
That has me on.
like it is. No, you'll gain a lot of respect. You know, when you speak up and when you tell the truth, ultimately, like, they haven't silenced me. I'm getting my voice out just as good as I did.
Yeah, with his, I think they're called press releases.
if I had
Right.
Twitter, and I get in less trouble.
Oh, yay! Jess, you're sitting next to V. Gabriel. He's in the hospital. He got through surgery well yesterday. Having a bit of a rough time healing. That'll happen. Love to you guys. V. Gabriel, heal well. Hang in there. Take your time. Don't rush it. Don't be in a hurry to heal. Just let your body do it. Breathe into that. Make sure you're getting plenty of water and oxygen, and let your body do what it needs, and then let the good people of medicine around you to give you what you need. Much love to both you guys, Jess.
Because I don't retweet people that perhaps after you do massive research, you'll figure you shouldn't be retweeting. But
You mean white supremacists and people who are have question the Holocaust? If you do massive research, you mean if you click once?
no, this is, in many respects, it's better than Twitter.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Well, we will look
So
for it.
I think you're going to do very well based on this interview. And
Yeah, it's going to be great. This is your rocket. That honest to God, I mean, it's only been a couple of days, but the 164,000 views it's got. Don't be hurt by the fact that Newsmax has 1.8 million subscribers and only 164,000 watch this horseshit. Don't be upset by that. Come on.
And you're doing well anyway, but you're going to do very well based
You're gonna it's already good, but it's gonna be even gooder.
on this interview.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate so much of your time today.
Yeah, especially the time you cut out of the interview for God knows what reason.
I know that our Newsmax viewers were watching, and they're appreciative as well.
Well, not a ton of them. Yay, new patron.
Well, thank you very much, Heather, and keep up the good work.
All right. Have a great rest of the
Goodbye.
day.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for
Hey, Rob, that was great, man. Thanks for having him on. I learned a lot or whatever, especially that whole part where he couldn't figure out the remote. Did you know that baseball's on more than one channel now? Like, how do you even find it?